Yo, 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 yo. What's up, all you burner stoners and potheads, and especially all you gardeners out there? This is Mr. Weedman and Big Earl with the Grow Hour. Big Earl, my brother, how the fuck are you?
What's up? I'm doing really good, man. I'm doing really good. How about you?
I don't know. We got on. You were fucking super excited. So it's great. Life is good. And I like when you're happy because we're about to get baked with my buddy Big Earl. What are you smoking on, my friend?
I got the strawberry kush or the stanky kush breath back. So I think I was smoking on this one
Nice.
last week, and man, I just like it. It's very, very strawberry. But what about you?
Smoking on my grow. A little yeet, 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 yeet. My mommy don't love me. Remember that from SNL? You sent
Yeah,
me that video.
yeah. Eat, eat.
That's the eat.
My mom never loved me. That's a funny video.
It is funny as fuck.
Yeet.
Yeah. Yeet,
That was really
yeet,
good
yeet.
too. That bud you threw me a while ago was fire.
Dude, the taste on this is fucking phenomenal. It really cured. And you only got it like in the second week of cure. This is now on week 7. I can't wait for you to come back in town and just smoke it with me. It's really different. It grew, it changed over time, the flavor. And Umami was right. He says flavor over everything, and it's 100% true. The high is there. The high is great, but the flavor on this is the best flavor I've grown to date, overall flavor wise. So
Okay, and all organic. That's super dope. And it was like a pretty beastie flower, all organic, which is hard to do.
yeah,
Good one all
terpy
overall.
terpy as fuck. Tons of fucking crystals and shit. It was beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But I'm super excited because I just cleaned my tent out. I got your beans in the water.
Yeah.
Super stoked. That Landre strain. I'm super stoked to grow that. So
Yeah. You're gonna love that, dude. It's a little different. It's a lot of fun. I think I told you, I was like, I don't know if you're gonna like it more or less than other stuff, but I can tell you it's gonna be different. But yeah, a lot of fun. That chilled wine haze in there really normalized the flower and the structure to make it a little closer to what we're used to as gardeners today. And that straight up land race was wild. It was.
I'm excited. You told me it's going to grow really different. So I'm super stoked. So what I'm looking at here is the resin ring on this fucking thing.
Yeah,
it's got it's got a nice little resin ring going on here. So I rolled about 6 of these joints on Friday. I got 2 left, and Mrs. Weeman and I have been smoking these all week. These are fucking. This has been great. This is just a really good. I like the way it developed, but I'm super stoked. Super stoked. I got another grow going. I only been posting on Show Your Grow Fridays, that little fucking window grow that's just about petrified. So if it's the only thing I had, so now I'm super stoked. I got to grow again, so I can start really posting my fucking my garden again. So I'm super stoked.
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna cut that little clone maybe like Friday or Saturday. Just cut it, not even hang it, because it smells good. You put your fingers on it, still smells good, and you just see if I can just fucking smoke it, see what happens without cure some of it, but just cut the whole plant out and do something with it. Because like I said, I kept that because I didn't have a fucking grow, and I do Show You Grow Fridays, and someone made a comment. It was kind of funny, like, man, you've had that in your window for a fucking hot minute now. So I'm in between grows right now, so I just need to fucking show a picture, and it still looks good.
Stop watering it?
No, I didn't stop watering it. I still gave it water. It's still alive. It's not like where it should be, but it's not petrified, but it's alive. But it's not like doing anything anymore.
I've noticed people drying in pots, bro. Like they just stop watering and they don't turn on lights. They leave their room dark, and then they dry still up in the trellis. I don't know.
Oh, really?
If that's great or terrible, or what is different there than cutting and hanging upside down. But I've been told by those same people that it works really well.
Maybe I'll just let it do that. Stop watering it and put it in the fucking tent for right now, because I still got like a week before I got the beans. I just put them in the water yesterday, so you got 48 hours on that, 72 hours on in the plate with the fucking wet paper towel, and then then I gotta get them in the soil. So I got like till Friday, Saturday. So might be something fun to do.
That'd be cool.
I got one more Friday though, so one more Friday to show you grow. And I appreciate everybody that participates in that Show Your Grow Friday. It's kind of fun, something I've been doing now for like I think over a year. I've been doing that Show Your Grow Fridays, and I think everybody who grows should show their grow, not be scared.
Yeah, it's really cool, and it's cool to see everybody else's stuff. And I'm excited at the time of season now because I feel like you got some more people participating with it, and so
Yeah.
now that all those outdoor people are going to start like falling and getting all their fall colors, and everything's going to start looking delicious. I think I'm excited to see
There's
it.
I want to really see how much weed's going to come out this year from this harvest. Everybody, so I mean, a bunch of the guys we've had on the show, a bunch of peeps we've had on the show, this is their busy time of the year. They're coming into like, when we talked to a couple about coming on the show in October, and they were like, "Yeah, you know what time it is, you know what season it is." Yeah, we started laughing. Like, all right, we'll see you in November, December.
Yeah. Crossover doesn't work.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
so
hey, it's like that every year. Every year it's October, you start getting some of those earlier guys, but then by November it's fucking
well, you got the two harvests, the two big harvests, especially in the Northwest. You have the hop harvest that's going to start happening here in the next couple of weeks, if it hasn't already started already in some areas, due to weather situations. But October, Croptober, you'll start seeing fucking towards the end of the fucking month, people start harvesting their weed crops. It's that time, so it's exciting. We'll see how much comes out this year.
Yeah, we'll see. I've heard that we're outdoor, at least from what we get from out west. We've had a lot of people not gardening this year because of prices. Around me, the marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, and different, used stores or websites full of extremely cheap equipment. So I'd have to say that's probably true around Michigan also, to where a lot of people were in it to make the buck, and they weren't able to do it anymore, and so they're just done. They're just selling and moving on.
Yeah, I read that in a few articles about Michigan. A lot of growers can't grow, packing it up. Illinois already, some people already packing it in, selling their licenses already. Yeah. West Coast, same thing, like you said. Yeah, there's certain areas already that, I mean, New York. Okay, here's a perfect example right here. Forget about Michigan, because I mean they're making money, $260 million in fucking July. I mean, not everybody is, but there's someone making money. Illinois, all the numbers I read every week. But here's the fucked up thing about New York. There's farmers that have been waiting for it to go legal and didn't even get a shot, had their farms up and ready to go, or actually did a harvest and can't sell it, and they're done. They're closing up shop. They didn't even get a chance.
Yeah.
Because the fucked up laws that New York did, and you make cannabis legal, right? Yeah. You make cannabis legal, but there's nowhere to buy it. But you've been telling the growers all along, hey, we're about to go legal. The vote's going to pass. All of them were harvested, ready to go, and they're going to lose millions of dollars. They're bankrupt. They're done. Yeah. Shot.
Well, and it's not just the product. I mean, it's all that work, all the electricity, all the. I mean, you're talking. Yeah, it's an insane. The lights alone. Some of these people are buying $1,000 lights. You might need 100 of those for fucking every single dozen rooms you have to get some of these bigger.
Right. And some of this is outdoor too, upstate New York outdoor too, that they have nowhere to sell. They're going to harvest this last harvest and they're done. They're quitting. That has happened. It just, this is why when you get states involved, and I'm ranting because I'm stoned already. This is where you see where state governments, and it's going to get even worse when the federal government fucks it all up too. So they are going to fuck it up. So they fuck up everything. So
it's going to be the same as everything else. Quality and quantity. That's it.
Yeah,
you got to have the most for the cheapest, or you got to have the absolute best, or you're just not going to fucking make it.
And hopefully, if you listen to this show or you listen to other grow shows and you're a home grower or a caregiver, which what this show is going to be all about here, tips for a caregiver navigating the industry today. Yeah. But to talk about if you've already started homegrown, you already gave up, don't.
We need people that are in it.
Just keep on fucking up. Just keep on fucking up. Our tech, I've mentioned him hundreds of times on the Chronicles. He's our tech. He's been our tech. He's been on the show. He was one of the early hosts, co-host earlier on. And he's on his second grow. And he's using Big Earl's Ursula Berry BX, Ursula Berry, was it Ursula Berry and what mixed?
Who's peaches?
Pooh's Peaches mixed auto regs, and sent me a picture yesterday asking if these are males or females, and I sent him a photo of what a male and a female should look like. I said, you got to get closer in. He texted me all geeked out. I got two females. He's in. That's his tent. He can fit 2 plants solid in there. He did one grow before, totally fucked it up, but got like an ounce and a half of good smokable weed. I tried. It was good. It was smokable. It was good. It got him high. That's what he wanted. And he didn't turn the light on. He fucked up so much shit, dude. And he still got something.
Yeah.
Still got something. And what he said was, he goes, I wanted to truly abuse this plant to see what I could get away with. I said, on your first grow, can you do that later? He goes, no, I just wanted to see if, like, me being a lazy fuck, if I fucked this up so bad, would I still get? And he did. He destroyed this beautiful seed. But he got something, and it was good weed. It smoked. It was clean. It was crisp. He asked me questions along the way, but didn't follow anything except for the curing and the dry part. That's all he really wanted to know. Because he got weed, and he's like, okay, what do I got to do? So now he's on his second grow, and he's growing your and I sent you pictures.
Good.
I'll post them on I'll post them on this Friday, Show Your Grow Friday. But he got 2 really nice plants, and I'm sure if he keeps up with what he's doing, he'll get at least 2 ounces, maybe 3 off, maybe an ounce to 2 ounces off of each plant. Let's just say. So he might get 4 to 5 ounces, maybe 6 ounces. You never know.
Yeah.
Off of 2 plants. You know how much money an ounce is of good weed? I'm not talking about like fucking shitty weed. I'm talking about good weed still. And you're in a state that's not in abundance, and you're still in a traditional market state. You're going to get bud. You're going to pay an ounce 300, maybe 4. I would say, yeah, right. So, but in some states you might be paying that. Because it's in the traditional market, and if you want, I'm not talking about shitty weed. I'm talking about good weed.
Fire, yeah.
So we need you home growers out there in traditional market states. I mean, the setup I got ain't gonna cost you much, and you ain't gonna get caught. It's that low. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Of wattage being used in your house, and it ain't gonna turn no fucking heads. And you can get fucking 6 to 8 ounces on a good grow. And that is times that by 300 if you're in a traditional market state. So if you get 8 ounces and it's $300 an ounce, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, you're saving, or at least getting yourself. Sometimes that probably isn't available, I'd imagine. Like sometimes you're probably in an area where if you don't have dispensaries around you, you might not know somebody where you can literally get that top shelf where maybe you can get some good weed, but you only have you can only get a few strains.
Yeah.
Or something. You can order,
and something good might come around every once in a blue. Well, I mean, there's a lot of good weed around this country now because how much weed's being shipped from the West Coast and the states that are traditional markets still or whatever. People are getting good weed now, but you're paying the price on some of it though.
Sure.
100%. There's no doubt in my mind. Here, I'm not paying anything because I just grow my own. All I'm doing is paying for some soil, and I'm paying for some lights, and I'm paying for some water and some nutrients and whatever. The whole grow might cost me $50.
Yeah, especially after that initial, those first few years, especially you buy your tent, you're gonna have my tent years easy before you have any.
Yeah, my first year I made my money back.
Yeah,
twice, 2 folds. I got 3 grows, 3.5. I'd say 3.5 grows. And you know what I'm saying? And I didn't stop. Now I stop a little bit because I have a lot of weed and I just think too much is, it's greedy. So that's why that's why I only grew 1 yeet plant. So I got like 30 fucking strains in there right now, probably with an ounce to half an ounce on most of them. Why do I have to overgrow?
Yeah, sure. You don't need
so
it.
I grew one. So I grew 1 plant a yeet. I got fucking 3.5 ounces of beautiful weed. So I gave probably about an ounce away, maybe an ounce and a half away already.
That's fire.
Yeah. Roll joints for people. I was at an event. I rolled probably about 30 joints
of the yeet.
Of the yeet. Yeah, and it was the mids. It wasn't the fucking mine stash. I gave you my stash. That came with me, and I don't mind giving that away. But it's better than most fucking people. It's better than most dispensary weed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. Yeah. I've only been to a dispensary. I don't know if I've ever admitted this on the air. I've been to a dispensary twice. Both times were in Vegas. Um, open, I should say open, because there was a third dispensary I went to, but never when it was actually open. It was just when it was like opening and getting built and shit. But not very good experiences. I asked for the best. That's what I said. I was like, "Can I just get like I got a pre roll of their best weed, and then I got some edibles, not very much at all, and it was a little over $100 at the end of it." And I couldn't have done. I told myself, I was like, man, I should have gotten on Craigslist like back in the day and found some fucking
a home grower or a
yeah,
caregiver or something. Yeah,
somebody done something like that.
there is, because there's home grow across a lot of states now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so this is where we go into what we're talking about caregiving here and why it's important to become a caregiver, whether it's in a state like Michigan or a state like Illinois, which is two totally different caregiver programs, and we're going to go into a little bit. But you don't become a Mr. Weedman or a Big Earl or the real Regal Beagle or in 8 decades, without learning how to work the industry, even if it's a little bit. You got to work it. You got to work it. It's hard. It's not easy work. I'm going to tell you that right now. The industry is not easy. It was never easy in the traditional market either. Because one, you're looking over your fucking shoulder the whole time, everywhere you fucking go.
Yeah.
Right? There's always that. And I have pretty steady hands and I'm pretty fucking calm in a lot of situations. But when you're driving with fucking 100 pounds in your fucking trunk of your car, and I ain't talking about an ounce, I'm talking about 50 pounds of hash and 50 pounds of fucking rags and maybe a pound of fucking really good fucking hydro, you're a little nervous. I probably smoked fucking half a pack of cigarettes on that drive.
Dude, I was
to keep myself fucking even keeled, and I wouldn't smoke until the job was done, ever.
Yeah, that made me insanely nervous back in the day for sure. I even when I never had, I'd have my little eighth for the weekend, through high school, which was the 2000 early 2000s, and it was scary as fuck. You couldn't have that in your car at school. You couldn't keep it at home because they didn't have the bags and shit they have now. Like, you were legit sometimes hiding that shit in a bush. Like I literally had done that.
I knew a dude that would run. He was a runner, and he smoked weed all the way to the run with the windows fucking down, dude, or up. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Can't you wait? He goes, well, it calms me down. I'm like, dude, it ain't the point that it calms you down. As the fucking smoke it before you get in your car. Or don't smoke at all. Dude, what if you're fucking driving, there's a cop behind you and he smells you? I ain't going to get caught. I'm like, once I heard that, I'm like, you're an idiot. You're a fucking idiot. What? Are you kidding me? Like I said, dude, when you got a lot of weight in your car, you look just a little nervous. Just a little bit. You're looking over your shoulder the whole time. So you learn different ways how to work when you're in the industry, whether it be in the traditional market or the legal market. It's a lot of people that are in the legal market came from the traditional market. I would say over 50%. Sure. And even the people today that I talked to said most of them came from the traditional market, and they're probably in their 20s, and they were in the traditional market in legal states. They were fucking maybe dealing when they were 15, 16, maybe younger. Who knows? But
I think we probably have more people in the cannabis industry in general anymore that are in
600,000 people are employed in the cannabis industry today. That's big in legal markets. That's huge. We're not even talking about traditional market, how many people are in it, still. So, I mean, I've talked about this on the show. If the cannabis industry all collaborated and became one big union, we'd be in the top 5 unions in the country right off the bat.
Yeah. Hey, maybe it's coming.
As one big union. So, I mean, and give it, then you could really have a lot of here. Then you have a lot to say.
Yeah.
And how the industry goes. And I'm not just talking about workers. I'm talking about owners, owner operators. I'm talking about one big giant union. We all got to get along. We all got to get along and get this shit done. You know what I'm saying? So I've been saying that not just bud tenders and cultivators, growers and trimmers. I'm talking about it all. We all have to come together. Now, if the corporates don't want to do it, fuck you. But the independents would, because you're protecting everybody for it. I think it all needs to be one. There's enough money in this industry for everyone to make. And that's the thing. And the states take too much fucking money. That's why I'm saying learn how to grow. The states don't deserve it at all.
They should be paying us the fuck back.
That's what I said on the last couple episodes. They owe us that $1 trillion.
Yeah, they should be paying us back.
So that's why you need to become a caregiver in this industry. You need to become a patient and get your caregiver. Gets your partner to get the caregiver card, because the caregiver here in Illinois, we'll talk about Michigan in a second. It's mostly going to be about Michigan. So, but the caregiver program here in Illinois is, I have my med card. Okay. I got mine back in 2018 or 2017, late 2017, early 2018. I can't remember. And that gave me the right to med prices, because it wasn't rec yet here in Illinois. Med taxes, med prices, nice consultation. You worked with a doctor and they worked with you, and then you got your card and yada, yada, yada. You can get a caregiver. Mrs. Weedman became my caregiver, and that allowed her to go to the dispensary. And it was fucked up in the beginning. You can only go to the one store you were signed up for. That sucked. Number one. But yeah, so Mrs. Weedman would have to go all the way down to where I would go. And there wasn't one really close to my house. So I would go all the way fucking like Ogden and Western. So, and pick it up. So I wouldn't expect Mrs. Weedman to go do that unless I really needed her to, or if she wanted to. So, and that allowed her to go there, get what I wanted, bring it home up to my legal limit, what I can have, and she can go pick it up. Yeah. That was cool. So, and for that card, for a 3-year, I think it was $25 a year. And for me, it was $75 a year, and plus the doctor's appointment and all that shit. So weed goes legal. Now, same thing with the med card, except you can grow 5 plants.
Yeah.
So, and your caregiver can help you grow those 5 plants, but you can only have 5 plants per household. Doesn't matter how many cards are in the house. It's only 5 plants per house. So we couldn't get 10. Her being a caregiver.
You can have as many patients as you want, right? You can sign as many people up under as you want, but you can only have the 5. Is there a limit on your patient number?
I don't know if that changed during COVID or not. It wasn't before that. It was only 1 patient to 1 caregiver. And I think that might have changed during COVID. I'm not 100% sure, though, because they needed help with the caregiver program because people couldn't leave their house. Yeah. So I think that might have changed, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm sure someone will let me know. But and I did take the rules and regulations courses at Moraine Valley Community College, but that wasn't a topic of that wasn't out yet. So because COVID had just it was before COVID when I took those courses. Yeah. So she can help me grow my plants, take care of them, harvest them, all that stuff, because she's my caregiver. But that's it. That's basically it. Can't get more. You can't get less. You can't gift anything. Well, you could, but you can't legally, so you have to you're still under the kind of the radar. You can only have so many plants, which is fine, 5, and you can grow outdoor, but it can't be seen outside in public. Right. So
that makes sense.
That's kind of how the caregiver, but it's probably more, but I think that's really basically the basics of it. It's not very exciting, but at least you can get a caregiver, and at least they can help you out and do certain things. So, and you're not going to get any trouble. And here's the thing, here's the catch though. If you don't have your med card in Illinois or a caregiver card and you still want to grow, it's only a $250 fine if you get popped. No misdemeanor or anything.
Yeah. Under 28 plants.
No, just, I think it's just the, whatever. If you get caught, it's just, they take the plants away and it's $250 fine.
That's when Illinois first started, I don't know if we ever talked about this. The laws were written super similar to Michigan. The caregiver, all of it was very similar. And then last second they changed it there. And like before it got passed in, it went down to the 5, and there was, just certain branches of government officials complaining about being able to control that. But it's better than nothing, but there's always things we can improve. Up here,
I think the only thing, like what you have in Michigan, I think every state should have that, and I think everybody should be able to make money from it.
That's where we can. That's
Right.
it.
Well, you'll go into that. But what I'm saying is, though, everybody should be able to apply for a caregiver license. They get up to 25 patients.
Yeah.
They pay the taxes the same way. You have to get your weed checked out and tested and all that stuff. Yada yada yada. You have to follow the same rules as a cultivation does. Okay,
Yeah, you're tested.
but you can grow up to. You can have 25 patients. You can grow up to 100 plants in your house. Yada 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 yada.
Yeah. They have micro
And
licenses here that are kind of like that. They're just very expensive.
right, but they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And even the light you pay 200 because you work out of your home, then you can fucking have write-offs because it's a business, it's a home business, and you can use part of it at write-off, and you get illegal write-offs. It's not fucking. You become your own business. You start an LLC. You get tax write-offs. You do the whole S corp thing, and you fucking have your own business, and you can grow in your home. You can maybe build a little shed out back. The whole setup might cost you fucking $5,000.
Yeah.
And the license should be $1,000, and it's a license for life, and you just pay taxes after that. And then you get inspected once a year. They come and make sure your place is clean. You ain't fucking got bugs. I mean, you're gonna get bugs. Everybody does, but you're taking care of your shit.
Monitor
Sterile
shit.
shit's. You're right. Shit's sterile.
Yeah.
You might get a fucking problem. We talked about it before, but that's my like diehard what I would fight for, and still talk. And I've talked about it because I could teach a single dad or a single mom how to start their own business at home. Cannabis, like which this kind of setup that you have, and they can make $100,000, $120,000 a year and not have to leave their home, and they can take care of their kids and know where their kids are at and fucking send them to good schools and fucking put good. My goodness, you changed the world.
Provide grade A flower to their neighbors.
Yeah, and they get 25 patients, and to where they can make a good living. Maybe they make $200,000 a year. I don't know, but they can make edibles from their home. They can do the whole setup. And they charge just like they charge at a dispensary prices. Yeah. And they have 3% tax here in Illinois because that's what the med tax is. So that's my dream. And I've talked about that on the show so many times in that way that I'm jealous of the caregiver program in Michigan in a lot of ways. But in a lot of ways, you should be making this a business, making money, like real money. So I'm going to let you take over and talk about tips for caregivers and all the things that you need for the Michigan caregiver program. Because I'm excited because I love it. I think it's I think it's fucking amazing.
Yeah. No, and really any caregiver program, if you're growing somebody else's medicine, that's not to be taken lightly. That's not something that you should, I get it that like, oh, I'm just getting high, bro. And there's definitely that aspect of cannabis. But if you have anybody relying on you who takes weed medicinally and they expect a certain quality and they expect you to be able, you need to be there for them. So the number one thing, at least right here, which there's a lot of number one things, trust me, but make sure that you're just doing your research on it. Make sure you're being very precise. Make sure you're on top of new information. There are literally answers to everything out there. There are percents of humidity and CO2 and light, like absorbable light and wind speed, and you can measure all of them. And there are numbers out there where you can literally follow a recipe with that. Weed is more than that, but knowing all of that and being precise and being, on top of new knowledge and so it's a badass time for weed. There are doctors and experiments and there's money behind a lot of this, and this stuff is all for free on YouTube and podcasts, and you owe it to the people you're growing for to be evolving with the industry, and really to yourself, because if you don't, you are going to get passed up. You're not gonna if you're caregiving, that's going to be for somebody else. If somebody else can get better weed from another person, you're going to be pretty hard stuck finding patients. But if you're thinking about caregiving, see a lawyer. I know the rules and the laws are all out there. There are a lot of gray areas that those laws force on us. There are ways to deal with these gray areas that are smart and ways to deal with these gray areas that are not smart. A lawyer can tell you it can be down to your county. You could be in a different county. The state has its laws, but your county prosecutor is different. You want to know what your area does, what your area is about, and that's seeing a lawyer. hire an hour, come $300 to $500 out of your pocket, and go fucking see them. Have your questions all down so you can get the most bang for your buck. Um, I literally do it every single year, even after being in it. I go and say, "Hey, what's changed? What hasn't changed?" And a lot of times it's a 30-minute consultation or less because nothing's changed. But you still want to make sure that like this isn't something to be. I know it's way more lenient now, but when you're talking about plant counts, having a finished product, maybe you have some trim from a couple grows, you can get some people being dicks to you.
Give
And
the trim to old Mr. Weedman here. He'll push
yeah,
that shit to edibles.
yeah, you're waking up groggy a few times.
Those peanut butter cups were the shit, weren't they? They were Lauren's. They were for the wife, but they were Lauren's specialty right there. We made them low dose, but those were. I still got. I've been eating like 5 or 6 a night. They're fucking great.
He has like a little nibble, and I'm like, I'm just gonna take this little chunk here and nibble on. She's like, those are supposed to be for me. I was like, I know. She's very nice with me. She's not being serious about it.
Those things were the shit.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Use your patience. I know a lot of people up here, like if you can get actual people to sign up for you. I know a lot of people in my area who don't actually have patience when you can. And it's like, listen, I know following rules is sometimes stupid and it's dumb to pay for this license and that license, but if you can do it, get it. Like even in Illinois, like I get Illinois is a little different. You can have more plants, but I think you can legally charge to give people plants. Like right? Isn't it you can't make money there, but you can charge a certain amount of money for it? Or am I wrong?
No, you can't. Unfortunately, there's supposedly a license. They were talking about voting that on.
Well, there's a part where you see your lawyer. You talk about it. You say, "Hey, what can I do? What can't I do? Where do I show money? Where can't I show money? What's all of it. Just make sure you have your shit down because you don't. Sometimes you get caught up in these little weird things, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, that's a pretty big charge, or like whatever. It's just be safe about it, man. The industry doesn't need good people going away. Um, network. Even if you're not a caregiver, the weed industry is all over the internet. There's tons of festivals and so much shit, so many gatherings of this and that, all based around weed. There's 50 lives every freaking night online. Somebody talking about weed, somebody growing weed. YouTube has a million grows. Like, network, get out there, see.
Sometimes it's not always the easiest to network. Sometimes I know it's hard, but sometimes you just got to suck it up and go do it. I mean, Mrs. Weedman and I have to go out and network, and sometimes we work full-time jobs. Big Earl works a full-time job, and then all of a sudden you come home at night and you smoke a little bit, you eat some dinner, and all of a sudden you're like, God, I gotta go network a little bit out to an event, and you're just like, fuck, I also got to work on the show. It's there. It's not the easiest to do network, I'm telling you right now, but kick yourself in the ass and go do it, and you'll be happy you did it when you got home. You're like, I fucking met some cool ass fucking people in the industry today. I'm glad I went. I'm glad I went and got to meet some people. Just trust me, it's not always easy to go out and network, especially if you're not a people person too. Some people are introverted, man. They ain't networking folks at all. It's hard for them to go out but just go and show up. You don't even have to talk. Fucking stand in the corner, fucking with a fucking joint in your hand, and someone will come and talk to you.
Yeah.
If there anybody, especially if you got a joint behind your ear, if that's how you want to get attention, someone's, oh, what you smoking on? So I would ask you, I'm like, nice joint in your ear, just, you just go and show up. Eventually you'll meet a bunch of people. And then the introvertness from going to that same event, seeing the same faces will go away.
Yeah. It's fun. And you might not even have to go out to network. You might you might be able to get on a live where there's a ton of seed giveaways. There's a ton of everything. You can just watch for a little bit and maybe not network by, getting your name out there so much, but by watching people, seeing how, oh, I don't really like how this person reacted to this. Oh, I really liked this. Oh, I really like this person. I really like the ideology this person has. I think I'm going to buy this person's product, or I think I'm going to, follow this person's ideas or whatever. I think to do that, you probably have to be pretty passionate about the weed. which you're going to need to do all this because you have to have a commitment. A lot of people are finding out right now they're in the industry and they're like, oh, we got the money, we got the game plan, let's do this. And it's like, you have to have that commitment and that passion because you can taste it in the weed. You can taste it in the cultivars. You can taste it in the art of the garden. And if you don't have the passion, just like anything, the best of everything has the passion.
If you're just a home grower, what I've learned is as much as I'm passionate about and I love growing, the little breaks in between that I do have helped me out. Not to rush because I don't have to rush. You grow enough weed, you got enough weed. Unless you're a grower like Big Earl here. But as a home grower, so you don't get burnt out because it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work to grow weed. I don't care.
It's hard to leave for more than 3 days. That's the hardest part for me. Is like you can't take a legit vacation,
right?
So
take that break. Take 2 weeks, take a month off, go enjoy life for a little bit. And just go do your thing, and then come back, and your tent will be waiting for you. So, that's what I did. I took a month off. It's great.
Yeah.
Then I got the itch again. I'm like, I'm ready. Got to clean my lights. Got to clean the tent out. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. It's great for like bug and the pest and mold management too, because you let that tent, even if you get like pest problems, typically aren't in one run. Sometimes they are for sure, but a lot of times pest problems like one run has it, and then the veg gets it, and maybe the veg doesn't even have it very hard, but that moves into the flower, and then maybe it's noticed in that flower room week 5 or 6. Like the rooms had it for 5 or 6 weeks, maybe even longer before somebody's noticing it. A lot of times, especially if there's an IPM present where they're like actively trying to prevent, but it's not 100. It's 97% accurate or effective, so you get 97 out of every 100 bugs. But those 3 are kind of adding up, and all of a sudden or they're getting immune to what you're doing, and all of a sudden most of your population isn't getting killed by your technique. And but if you do those, that's for usually larger gardens and different shit like that. If you do the stops in between, do not real nice bleach scrub on that tent, let it sit vacant for a little bit, like you probably don't even have to worry about eggs that much, like because sometimes those eggs can last a little while. So it's really nice for that.
Yeah, it is. So I like taking that little bit of a break. So I always do after each grow, take like a couple weeks off, clear my head, and then you get the itch. That's all, So this next one I really like.
This is a good one. Yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a good one, Big Earl. And here's what I'll say about this. As much as I say you get frustrated and you want to quit, here's what you do. Here's an idea. Okay? Don't quit, first and foremost. You tried. Don't quit. Take a break. Find somebody that wants to grow and doesn't have the money to spend on the tent and all the equipment, and loan it to them. And how they pay you back is by giving you half of the fucking yield until either they pay it off in product, or when you're ready to take it back, you take it back.
It was so.
I don't know, just a thought.
I know, absolutely, yeah. There's this community and this process can be anything. It's called a weed. You could probably get it to grow in between the cracks in your driveway, and so. And that's not saying that people aren't going to have, people aren't going to have problems, and that like if you've messed up, we've all messed up. I literally killed a whole tray not very long ago because I left for 3 days and I fucked something up and I lost a whole tray. Been doing this for a very long time. It's just like what happened, And if you're gonna fuck up, it's a garden. But be honest with yourself also, to where it's like you might really love weed, you might not really love gardening. You might not really love having that extra time. If you're not going to put the time into that garden, it's not probably going to, and it doesn't have to be a million hours. We've talked about how little time it can really be to have a decent garden. Or for yourself personally, it doesn't have to be a million hours, but you need to be prepared to put a few hours into this a week, to have time set aside, ideally checking every day, at least for a little bit, just checking on things. It's a living thing, and without the respect and that time put aside, you're not gonna. You might get lucky a few times for sure, but it's not going to be something that's always going to be there for you, you know. But yeah, I totally I love the how creative the industry is and how much of that is going on goes on, especially with a lot of these lights now. Like, oh well, got the trades, dude. The trades are huge, and I know we're going to talk about that later, but being able to trade somebody or being to make something out of nothing and being able to trade that, say, hey, I got this set up to be able to make this out of a seed or a cut, like fantastic. But I think another thing that's really important for caregivers, and then we can stop on the tips, um, is to be open about it. I think that's a big thing for a lot of people. You talk about what you do as a caregiver, show your passion to people that aren't pro weed specifically, but to everyone. People change their mind when they see your passion, and then they see it changes. When they see the passion, they see the outcomes, they see the sticking with it. They see that it's more than a fad, or that it's just, they talk about weed every now and again. Like it changes people's mind. People will ask you questions. I guarantee there's somebody close to you that wants to know more about weed that probably doesn't know that much. And if you're open about it, they might talk to you about it. Oh yeah, dude, I've had some really fun family members, close and not that close to me, have that conversation with me where I'm able to.
It's all we fucking talk about is stomp the stigma, and fucking Mrs. Weedman gets on her soapbox now at every family party. It's fucking great. About time, because I would have to used to go in the corner back in the day and hide, go for a long walk and hit my oney. Now it's like, you got weed on you? Of course I do. Who the fuck? What's my name? We go to a party. You ready to go smoke? That's Mrs. Weedman coming to me. That's not me going to her. She's coming to me. She goes, "You ready to smoke?" Yeah, I'm always ready. What the fuck you're asking me for? Just come and grab it,
Yeah,
And
you know what pocket it's in.
yeah, you know where it's at. You know my little fucking box. I keep it in. Just go in my pocket. Reach deep.
It's there.
It's there.
And, dude, I just never used to be able to do that. I just wouldn't risk it at family events, and I don't go to a ton of family events anymore, not extended, But it was always something that I wish I could have. When I was closer to some of those people when you're younger, you're a little closer to aunts and uncles and cousins, and it would have been cool to be able to experience that and talk about that with them back then when we just couldn't.
Yeah, it was cool because in the 70s, my dad, all of his buddies, and all my aunts, all my dad's cousins, they all smoked weed. We all knew when they didn't even go outside. They just fucking smoked in the house. The whole fucking 70s were great. They just fucking smoked. They lived that hippie-ish kind of fucking lifestyle in Bronx. They fucking loved it.
Cool.
Everybody come to the house and be smoked. No one hit it. The whole house reeked like fucking weed. Okay.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, we were fucking kids, me and my little bro, fucking 20 people in the house all smoking weed. There was a lot of joints going around. It was great. And then the 80s came and they all became prudes and they hit it. It was weird because Reagan fucked everything up. He crushed the stigma because it was cool in the 70s. I grew up with it. It was all over. And then the 80s came and everybody fucking either closet smoked or stopped.
Yeah.
Just say no. Fucking the war on drugs. It was just like, wow, fucked up. DARE programs, mom against drug drive, all this shit. Fuck, mom against drugs, dad's against. But meanwhile, my dad was fucking hiding his weed. It was like, I always knew he still smoked, but he never talked about it, never bought it out. He always stayed in the bedroom. So weird.
It's serious, man. Even in the early 2000s, like
so weird.
Smoking in 2002. I mean, we already talked about it a little bit, but like it was a very little bit was serious, like a little pipe, serious. That's paraphernalia. That's an expensive ass ticket. That's going to court defending yourself. Maybe getting some fucking community service or something. Like that was no joke. A little ass pipe.
Crazy. Nobody cared about, like, it was a big deal in the 70s, and then the 80s came. It was fucked up. In the 90s, well, the 90s, I'm GX, so I mean, it was a little bit different in the 90s. People were starting like say go fuck you kind of thing, and you saw it a lot more than you did in the 80s. 80s, everyone was quietly smoking. Parties, all the parties I used to go to in the 80s and late 80s and shit, people were going in the backyards and everyone was partying out. Everybody walked away or went in the car. It wasn't as, you know. And then like the 90s came along and we just fucking go right outside and start smoking again. We didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So weird. And then 2000s came again and kind of like had its like Bush came along and fucked everything up, you know. So it was weird. It just all depended on who was president at the time, and if people hit it or people went out and said "Yay," you know. So
that's how my high school was, where it was like I had certain friends where when I was with them, we'd smoke, and it was never, dude. It was like a hitter or two. It wasn't ever anything crazy. And then I had certain friends when we didn't smoke, and that's just kind of like those friends that you didn't smoke around. You didn't talk about it. You didn't bring it up. You didn't, you know. It's like those dudes didn't smoke. Yeah, it was very weird. That was before dispensaries. You know, that was before any kind of advertisements.
yeah.
Any of that shit.
And the industries now and shit is just like, you know, it's. I mean, it depends on what state you're in. You know, I'm in Chicago. I mean, I'm in Illinois. They're trying. You know, to make it non-stigmatized. I could say they've gotten better. You know, it's still not great, but it's getting better as a lot of the younger generations coming through now, which I like to see what they're doing and what they're talking about, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's interesting how fast that the stigma has definitely changed a little bit, but how fast just like that feeling kind of has been gone. There's some people out there that have never had that effect. You know, the industry now is kind of, I mean, the industry is just fucking public. Like people are smoking everywhere. At least up here, I know it's different in some places, but
so can you actually make money or not in Michigan?
No,
doing what you do.
We can pay our bills, and we can not lose money, but we can't make money. So, but every state's a little different. I know. This is why, you know, we talked about trading a little bit before. That's huge. And why networking is vital. You know, you need to know a lot of people. You can't rely on one or two people, especially if you're trying to stay in, you know, in the gray areas and in the legal areas. You have to network, and you have to find unique ways of making money in the industry. And that's really fucking where it's at. You know, that's I started making seeds because I loved making seeds, but it turned into something, you know, with the Regal Beagle that was to try to make a little bit of money, something differently than actually having cannabis. You know, like I have a job, I have an hourly, and I do a lot of other stuff, but I was not trying to rely on income from cannabis because they were trying to cut that out, you know, and it's like, so, but if I could talk about that, you know, a little bit, we have this huge problem in the industry where people are charging for their expertise, quote unquote, and we need to just stop. We need to stop that. We have so many people going to weekend classes that just got their first clone and now they're charging for clones that, you know, and listen, I don't hate on anybody's hustle. What I dislike is selling. There's a certain thing when you tell somebody, I'm selling you, yeah, I'll sell you this clone. You're agreeing to give somebody a healthy living plant that's supposed to be their medicine. I know everybody doesn't take it that way, look at it that way, but that's what it is. And so when you give somebody a plant that's full of bugs, or you tell somebody you'll take tissue clones for them, but you've never actually like grown out a tissue culture, or tell somebody you'll oh, I really love this cut. Oh, bro, give me $5,000 and I'll meristem that and I'll take the HLVD out of it. But you've never actually done it, you know. There's so much of that going on, man, and we just have to stop it. Consultants is the same way. Oh my goodness, everybody's a consultant. It's like Lance talked about it a little bit, and it makes it really hard for people who are really, really, and I shouldn't even say really hard. It just makes it harder for people who are very serious in the industry. So, um, make sure you're looking at the community around you. There's places it's not legal. I know that'll be a little bit harder, but there's a lot of people online, like we talked about. Get online, get on Discord, get on all those lives, get on all that shit. Facebook even has a ton of stuff. Um, Start talking with the industry, start talking with the community. When you know that community a little bit, try to find a niche, try to find something. Maybe you can find some people who aren't making seeds, who have a couple of large gardens and they're loving some plants. You say, hey, let me cross that for you. Let me make a couple seeds for you. I love making seeds. There's a million other ways to do it. Maybe you are interested in doing clones. Get really fucking good at it. Take thousands of clones, like literally thousands. Don't take hundreds of clones. Thousands, tens of thousands. Get really fucking good at it. I get it that it's not super, super hard to master, but you just don't, grow those out a little differently. Take them in a ton of different medium, and maybe saying tens of thousands is crazy, but take it so that you can, take a clone in rock wool, peat moss, make your own cubes, arrow cloner, take it in every way possible, try it out, grow it out, write it down, like be serious about that shit. I can't tell you, bro, how many, most of the time, if you have bugs and you got clones within the last month and now you're noticing a bug, probably from your fucking clones. If you're doing proper IPM and proper technique and you're taking care of your shit, you have bugs, or you don't have bugs.
Or you get the fucking virus.
Yeah, exactly.
You order from somewhere. You order from fucking somewhere it's got a big problem right now. You're gonna get the fucking virus. You're gonna get the V.
Yeah.
You ain't getting the C virus. You're getting the V virus. Hop latent viroid.
No,
Be careful. Be careful.
That's exactly right. And if you're gonna do this in the community, I am not talking about anybody specific. I'm talking about this movement in the community as a whole. Like think about the car community where people are like, yeah, I've been driving a car since I was 16. I'm now 40. I can fix your car. Like, or I changed my oil. Yeah, let me take a look at that muffler.
I can do one. I can help you with two things in your car. I could fucking check your tire pressure and fill it up for you, and I could check your your oil stick. Yeah. Tell you if you need oil or not. Your dipstick, I can find that for you. I can fucking jump your battery. That's it. Yeah. That's all I can tell you. Oh, I can fill up your windshield wiper fluid too. But that's it. Yeah. I've been driving since I was 15 years old. I'm fucking 51. I can't fix a car. I never learned. I never cared enough to even learn. No one ever, and I never that's why I pay mechanics who study, do it, and know how to do it right, correctly. Yeah. So if someone taught me how to work on a car at this age, like say I'm a -2 at doing, let's say I'm a 0 because I know how to do a couple things, the basics. I'm a 0. The best you're ever going to get me at becoming a mechanic of a car is a 2. If you do a scale from 0 to 10,
Sure. And so if the car industry was like some weird industry to most of the community, and you were like, well, I know about cars more than most people, but you still don't know shit, and then you were charging people for it, like it's just at best.
It'd be very many years of me growing, like. Realistically, I mean, in the traditional market, yeah, but I wasn't like the true grower. But in this market, as a home grower now since 2020, I'm 3 years in. I have nine grows, maybe 10 grows in. It'd be before I even became like a trade to where I would even, if it was a friend that wanted to take a clone, like you took a clone of that's a different story. 100%. Same thing with breeding seeds. Like Mrs. Weedman, we bred that little. I just give the shit away. If someone wanted to take a cut, come take a cut. But to get that, to be able to admit to myself that I am at least more than a novice or a pollen chucker, let's just say, to even start wanting to sell I'd be 5 to 7 years before I even would to become that good. Before I would even do anything like that.
And it's there's a ton of knowledge out there, and there are some people that'll probably be really good at it, really fast at certain things, really fast, and some people
Yeah,
that won't be
that's
really good at
true.
certain things
I'm
really
just talking
fast.
about me.
Yeah, for
You,
sure.
you know what I'm saying? Me personally. I'm not saying you. There might be somebody that went to fucking school, maybe got fucking mastered by somebody that's been doing it for 30 years and studied under him for 2 years and learned everything and went off and got some of that person's genetics that he helped create, and
Sure.
people want it. It might be a little different story. That could hit that's 100% probably have happened, can happen. I'm just saying personally, me, 5 years, 7 years before I would even want to do something like that. I would want to get really good.
I think that's a great outlook on it. It's a very respectful. It's about
It's like going to
respecting the
college and high
community.
school.
Yeah, sure. It's about respecting the community and the plant. And I know there's a lot of talk on the community, if it's even a thing, it's even that or this. I remember weed before, it was all legal, and it was for sure community back then. And I think we still have that community plus a ton. And we just need to stop lying. It goes all the way back to being honest. Like, I get it. We all want to get in here. There's a bunch of different ways of making money. We all want to sell the clones, and we all want to make the seeds. We all want to do all that, and doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means like you said, put in a little bit of time, learn it,
Put in the
make
work.
sure you're fucking
Put in the work.
right. So there's a lot of ways to make money on this, man. You don't have to go in for it for weed. You can go in for it for clones. Just do it well. You can go in for it for seeds. Just make sure you do it well. And I'm really geeked on, and we're going to talk about it more. But we have some segments coming up on it's going to help people with seeds a lot. But if you have grow shops around you, get into them somehow. That will broaden your network so well to people coming in and buying lights that are also growing probably the exact same thing. I know a lot of that industry's gone and dead. A lot of that grow shop cheers, type atmosphere is gone. But it's still some places I definitely still see shops open. Make edibles like we've talked about so many times, topicals. Find your niche, get into it, get into the community, find a niche, get good at it, experiment a lot, create something unique. It's super possible, and I'm not gonna say easy at all, but it's super fucking possible.
Nothing good is ever easy. Just remember that, people. Nothing good is ever easy.
The plant works. We all know that. All we gotta do, be unique in doing this shit. Go to your lawyer, see where you can work in your gray areas, and I'm telling you, it's possible. And trade. Don't forget about trading.
Trade.
Fucking trade for some shit.
It's always fun. Trading's fun. Yeah. You trade a lot, don't you?
I try to trade with everything I possibly can. Tattoos, haircuts, fucking everything.
Barter and trade is some of the best in the world. That's going to happen again soon because fucking money ain't going to be worth shit. People are finally going to realize that money ain't worth dick. And we're going to get back to the past, not the future. I'm not talking about like in the next 5-10 years. I'm talking about probably the next like 5,000 years. Yeah. So when people realize, let's go back to when we just farmed and fucking we traded this. You make me a piece of furniture, I'll give you a fucking half a cow. You fucking do some of this, I'll give you some of that. When life was simple and you lived a simple, clean life, it was nice. It was nice. Yeah. I'll trade weed for some meat. I'll trade some fucking edibles for some fucking vegetables or maybe seeds. Yeah. So I can grow my own garden.
Or some clones.
Yeah.
I traded, dude, one of my favorite trades ever. I had these moms, and they were giant, and they were too big for my room. I was like, I can't flower these out. I had already trimmed them up, so if I trimmed them down even to their smallest, they were too big for my bedroom. Like, they were just monsters. And I found a friend, and he gave me, I had these 5 big moms, and I got, 4 or 5 jars of honey, and he mushroom forages, and he gave me a few different pounds of all these different mushrooms too. And it's still to this day probably one of my favorite. I remember that came out today. I was like, man, look at this! Look how dope this is! Like, the honey had the beeswax all in it, and the mushroom.
Yeah, I trade weed for honey any day. I love honey. Oh, fucking we eat a lot of honey in this house. I mean, I use it every day. So I mean, I put a nice big whopping tablespoon in a warm glass of water every morning, and I drink that with some ginger in it. I'm a freak. But anyway, but I love honey. It's good, natural, raw honey. If you're ever in Canada in Toronto, go to the honey guy in the St. Lawrence fishery, in the St. Lawrence market. Go to the honey guy. You'll get to try like 5,000 honeys. They're amazing.
Yeah. A good honey's good. But, and really, I mean, if you're getting into the weed industry to make money right now, unless you have a lot of money, it's going to be pretty hard. I would, you're not, you want to get in for your passion to fill a part of your life with that, or to, maybe so you don't have to buy it at the dispensary, or because you can't find it what you want. But getting into it for money right now,
you're going to lose a little money first before you make some money. I'll tell you that right now. I've been doing this for a hot minute, and I mean, it just telling you right now, you're going to lose some money before you make it. So, but at least you got free weed because you're growing your own. Exactly. So that's one expense to take out if you're especially if you're an ounce of smoker a week. I mean, you got to think. I mean, you're fucking that's $300, $150 to $400 if you're in a state that's fucking traditional market, or if it's in a state like Illinois, they're still charging $300 ounces, $400 ounces. Ooh,
the dream. And dude, if you can grow really good weed, it's not hard. Like 300's fantastic.
I didn't say it was hard. It's just not easy.
Yeah, no, for sure. And growing a really good flower makes it possible. Yeah, it's not easy. But if you have good flower, you can get a couple patients. You can talk to people around you about it. You can probably make it. Like, you can do some trades, and I'm not saying make it like be a millionaire, but I'm saying like make it worth your while. If just smoking isn't having it yourself, isn't the complete goal, if there's
what's cool is if you find yourself a few patients, they're actually smoking your weed that you're helping them with medicinally. Sure. That's just to make you feel good. Like, I have people that come and grab weed that can't afford it, and maybe they have an ailment, and we throw them edibles, and all I ever hear is your edibles are amazing. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, thanks for the flower, man. It was good stuff. It helped me with my back. And maybe they only needed it for a minute because their back was in pain, and kind of like, how sciatic goes and comes and goes. And this person I know smokes because he doesn't like taking painkillers or muscle relaxers. He'll smoke while his back is acting up, and then he doesn't need it anymore. That's what medicine is for.
Yep.
I need it every day. It helps with my glaucoma and my back and everything else. So, but there's some people that don't. There's some people it's like taking fucking an aspirin. They need it because they got a headache. They need migraines only comes and goes. So that maybe they don't get migraines all the time, but they smoke it or eat an edible because they have migraines. That's how people treat it. Some people treat it that way. So find yourself some patients, and that they come to you because your medicine works for their endocannabinoid system.
Yeah, and it really is. It's rewarding, man. I know most places you can't make any money off of it. I don't know if there's anywhere you can in the caregiver type program, but
which is bullshit.
Like you said,
bullshit.
It's great. I'm not gonna say super often, but a lot of times, especially when I find new patients, you get stuff like that. Hey, this trainer really helped with this. Hey, I have this nerve glitch that goes on in my back. Hey, I have this. And there are so many people living with just these little annoyances, and it's not a big deal, right? But to get that little relief from that annoyance can be a pretty huge, deal that you're maybe not quite, when you walk with a limp for a year, then all of a sudden you're like, you don't notice it, but all of a sudden you get that back adjustment and you get that push down 2 inches, and you can feel the difference, and
yeah, it's like I was talking to somebody, I was DMing somebody, and they were telling me how much they smoke, and I was like, whoa, that's a lot. And they said that you don't smoke that much. I mean, I smoke, but I don't over smoke. That's just me. I don't need to, I smoke every day. Yeah. I smoke 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night is when I start smoking. During the day, I don't need it. It's after everything I need it. Unwind, stress, fucking back, fucking get me in a better mood because fucking work's been shit all fucking day, here and there. You get beat on here and there. Sometimes it's good. That's the way work goes. Sometimes work is good. Sometimes work you want to fucking beat your head against the wall, And when you hit that fucking joint when you get home because work's been shit all day and you're like, oh God, I feel great.
Yeah.
All the worry goes away. All the pain goes away. So I don't need it during the day though. And this person was DMing me, and they need it from all day, and they smoke a lot. I get it.
Yeah.
And they were asking me, how can I smoke less and still I'm like, go off fucking smoking for like a couple weeks, but just do edibles.
Yeah.
Because different way of processing it. Remember, it goes through your liver when you eat it. Smoke, it goes to your lungs. So maybe take a TB break that way. Just go on edibles for a couple weeks, and that's what you can help your patients with too. Get them on the edibles. Say, hey, I can make the butter for you. You just got to make whatever the fuck you want, cookies or any of that shit. I'm not gonna sit. So that's another way to get people onto medicine in a different way. And finding patients, because maybe they don't want to smoke.
Sure.
You can make them butter.
They don't like smoking. They just want
Right.
smoke in their lungs.
I'll make you butter, and then you can make whatever you want. You want to make them cookies. You want to make pies. You want to make cakes. You want to use it for just like butter, sauteing your steak in it or something. I've done that. Saute your onions in fucking can of butter. Oh, Mama says that's a good meatball. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
So, so finding patients, man, that's you got to have good flour like Big Earl does. That's why I'm a patient of his.
Finding, what I've found too, not to come back to what we were just talking about, but if you can find a different gardener or a different cultivar, but even a different gardener that has just different growing methods that is maybe growing a different cannabinoid percent, that can help a lot too. If you're having a hard time getting high, but you're smoking the same weed, or you're a gardener only smoking your own weed, or your one certain strain specifically, go to a different cultivar, go to a different gardener.
Yeah, and as good point too, Big Earl, as you're sometimes you need to switch it up. You do. I've read that a bunch, and I've talked about it on this show, and I've talked about it on the other show. You have to mix it up, right? Is to keep. But some people smoke that same strain because it gives their body their benefits they need. There's other strains out there that has the same kind of terpenes in there. There's the same kind of strains that have the same kind of cannabinoids in there. You just have to do your research, and hopefully it's a state that where you can find a variety of strains, not in a traditional market where your plug only might have 2 strains. That's it. That's all you could do. Or if you're growing, I have not grown the same strain twice.
Nice. That's fun.
Yeah. So I just keep on changing it up. And I got enough seeds now from that I've bought or have been given as testers or to try out to where I probably have 40 different strains now that I can just I'm good. And if I go back to one, that's fine. Cause maybe I hadn't grown that in like 6 months or maybe 2 years or whatever. So, and then you just, you meet people along the way, and you might get free packs. Yeah, that's the cool fucking thing too. A lot of breeders are trying to test their shit, and and they might give you a couple free packs here and there, or they're trying to get their name out there, and they do a Discord night, and you win a pack or 2. That's fun as fuck. Yeah, that's all you got to pay is the shipping for that breeder, and that's dope as fuck. And then you're finding some, try different shit. But like I said, I don't do a TB break. I don't. I did a 3-day break, and I didn't need to. I did it to test to see if I was addicted or if it was just a habit. So because I don't, like I said, I don't over consume. I don't overuse it. And as a patient, some patients do need it. But you have to realize as a patient, as being their caregiver, you need to like research for them and help them out and figure out like, hey, I'm not getting stoned off this strain anymore. Okay, let's try something different. It's got the same stuff you're looking for, just a different strain. Yeah. It might even be a little bit less THC, but it might have more of this in there. It might have more of that in there. They might like that strain for a while, and it got them back to where they used to be, But there's some people that ultimately need to take a TB break, and that sucks. It's sad, but it's a learning process with your body. But there is people out there that need to take a TB break. But here's, you could take a 24-hour break without getting any residuals. You do get. I'll tell you what, you will get a little withdrawals from anything. People get withdrawals from caffeine. People get withdrawals from fucking drinking soda. People get withdrawals from eating fucking meat. Whatever. It happens. Your body is just used to something. You're taking it in every day. You're used to that. Your body is now, it's a part of you. The midichlorians in your body, it's just a fucking Star Wars joke. But your body, your endocannabinoid system is now opened, so it needs that for your CB1 and CB2 receptors. So as being a caregiver, you have to know all this and not be so in depth, but to be able to take care of your patient. You are there, you are giving them their medicine.
Yeah. And in a lot of instances, their knowledge.
It's not about
of
just
the
getting
industry-
high.
Yeah, for sure. Their knowledge of the industry in a lot of cases too, especially when you're really dealing with people that have that need this for a certain type of medicine that makes it hard for them to be in public, or hard for them to consume information in certain ways that we're used to. And how you inform these people is huge. So I always ask, anytime anybody gets any of my flour, I want them to get a bunch of flavors, and I ask for, hey, which one was best.
That is great. So let's say you're going into this to make some money.
Yeah.
And you have some flour sitting around and you want to sell it. What would Big Earl do?
Yeah, he got into it. He said, "I want to grow some weed. I'm gonna make a ton of money." And you're like, it's kind of fucking hard. So first off, if it's not super great flour, like if you know what super great flour is, and you say, "Oh yeah, it's that," cool. If you've never smoked super great flour, it would be hard for me to believe that you grew super great flour. I'm not talking shit. I'm just trying to be, as honest as possible. So if it's not super great flour, I'd try to find as fast as possible way to extract it. If it's dried, I'd throw it in the freezer, probably in a Grove bag now that I know about them.
Or an 8 decades jar.
Or an 8 decades jar, exactly. I'd throw it in the freezer if it was dried already. If it wasn't dried, and you wanted to run a bubble hash process before giving it a squish or something, I throw it in the freezer right away. But if you were just planning on doing a squish and not running bubble hash, which is a little easier, and it usually isn't maybe as high quality, I think most people would argue, but you can do that too. Just dry it and freeze it, and then squish it when you can, kind of thing. If it is great flour, if I had some fantastic flour right now, hypothetically, and I was trying to sell it, and I said, I really need to find somebody to sell this hypothetical fantastic flour to. I'd probably get online. I'd probably look at a bunch of weed pages or Reddits or Facebooks or whatever the fuck. And I'd try to find stuff in my local area. I would maybe go into a bar or two or a restaurant or two with something that smelled really good in my pocket and wait for somebody to comment about it. I'm not saying I've done that. I'm just saying I might have done that. I might do that if I, had that around. It's very, depending on where you're at, it's a little different. But as long as you're willing to put yourself out there a little bit, and if you have great flour, you can usually find people to buy it. Hypothetically,
Don't be greedy. Just get a couple of good clients.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
People
get caught because they get greedy. It's as simple as that, and you make foolish mistakes.
And really, at the end of the day, if your mind's on helping a patient and helping somebody with this great flour, which you may or may not be, you're not. That's the definition of not getting greedy. You're doing it for the right, and even if you're doing it for some money, it's pretty open out there, and it's nowadays how much shit costs and stuff like that. If you got a couple good little patients, you're making. I mean, listen, I am not here to judge. I know what you do. I mean, I know what I do. I don't give a fuck what you live your life. If you got to make a little side hustle and you got to make a little money, you make an extra $400-500 to feed your family, feed yourself. You got some bills. College is fucking next month. You're all going to start paying that fucking interest rate in your fucking college loans again, man. That's all gonna suck. It's all coming to an end, So that being said, I ain't about fucking. I got to make money. You make money the way everybody's got to have a side hustle, one way or another. You make a side hustle. Yeah, we're definitely not hating on any of that.
Fuck no.
No, that's
just be careful. Just be careful. And don't be greedy.
What else is, I think, underutilized a lot? You're a caregiver. You're trying to find a few nice patients. Hook up some deals. Not even like like great prices. Yeah, you always want to do nice prices, but if you get 4, you can get that at $100 a pop, or 2 at $250, and stuff like that. 1 at $150 or something. What I have possibly found is that you will have friends that they're not going to spend that much more themselves. They're going to find a few friends and they're going to say, hey, I can get this really great weed, but I can get it cheaper if I can get a few more ounces. So we're going to sell 1 ounce to a homie. That homie now got a few other homies who they wouldn't have even thought about if they couldn't have gotten that better price. And now all of a sudden you're getting rid of maybe a quapper instead of a single zipper. And it's, you're getting a little
A
less.
double quapper with cheese, please.
Royale with cheese, please. But that's just something I think isn't utilized a lot, bro. And I'm telling you, if more times than not, especially if you have some really nice flower, that's going to, if you're growing a few plants at home and you get a couple extra overages, whatever, you only want to talk to one buddy and you got 4 ounces and that
let that one buddy do the rest of the legwork.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that. It's just street knowledge. You're about to get schooled in street knowledge, as Easy and Dr. Dre once said.
So I'm sure other people have found that conclusion in their own, experiences, but it makes a fucking huge difference. I can tell you that. For me, at least, it has. So, and we were talking about a super secret.
Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
Chinese secret.
I'm telling you, this is a good one. We both agreed right away when we talked about this last night on the practice. We both fucking said this is because you're like, I'm like, I think everybody knows the restaurant bar industry will understand this. So go ahead, Big Earl, and I'll cut it in a second. But this is a good one because this is like old school, like this is like classic restaurant industry shit.
Dude, it's such a good word. It's just such a good play on it.
Yeah.
So back in the day, you could find one or two busboys, maybe a waitress or a waiter, a couple different restaurants.
Barbacks were the best.
Oh,
the best.
Somebody who's seen a lot of people, and I'm telling you what, these people are fucking hustlers, and you will just grow and grow and grow as long as you can get good prices and good flour. You find yourself somebody in the service industry,
barback, especially,
and they're gonna come there. Yeah.
No, they're so good for running and gunning, man. They get this shit done because they're making fucking money they ain't making as a bartender. So they're walking out with an extra few hundo in their pockets. They're happy as fuck.
People come to see them. Come on, man. I'm gonna be there till fucking 1 a.m.
Find yourself a couple homies, and the barbacks like the party at the end of the night. They're always the ones showing up after they clean the bar up, and they got all the stash in their pockets, and they're running and gunning to that late night party at 4 or 5 in the morning, and they're going home with a fucking kiss on the face and a fat pocket full of weed and a fat pocket full of cash.
They're partying until they're,
those romies, man, they roam around to all the parties. I knew them all. Oh my God. It
was growing up. That was the fun shit. You'd go to the OG parties, and then somebody else be fucking working at another place, and you'd be seeing somebody. Oh, where you? Oh, you're all from the same restaurant, also.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it was, man. 2005, 6
to 1991 to like.
There you go.
2003.
That was the way.
You always do a bar back.
With the dispensary, how true that is. If it's as true today, a little less true. How that is completely today. But back in the day, that was definitely the move 100% of the time.
Oh yeah. So I've heard. So have you heard?
If you read that one book by the one guy, you definitely know that was the move.
Oh yeah. Oh man, Big Earl, brother, dude. Hopefully we taught some people a few 2-3 things here on this. How to be a good caregiver.
I hope so too. At least gave some tips.
But as a good caregiver, though, what should you not forget?
I guess, you always want to include the CalMag in there. You make sure you get the top quality for everyone. You put the CalMag in, and you're going to get that. That's that's the best way I can put it for you.
Hey, everybody out there in the world, we love you. Don't forget the CalMag. Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a ninth decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.